Hello. This is your King Ginger taking a break from his fake farm life to do a fake multiversal life for a while. Um, this is down in Outlands, so I'm not gonna waste a whole lot of time introducing myself. Instead, let's move over to the important people.
All right, I'm Nate, your D&D ringer, playing Otterkin Rogue. Treg Swiss Strike.
Voice stealer.
It'd be a throwdown.
Hi, I'm Shannon Townsend, aka Smarky Betch, and I'm playing Charity Beaumont, who's a 10-year-old artificer that likes to talk a whole lot.
I'm Warrior. I'm playing Akko. He's a Knoll fighter, and I'm not going to do this in his voice.
Fair.
I'm Cassandra. I'm playing Amulet Sticky Fingers. She is a Kender barbarian.
Excellent. So, when last we left off, you four were trying to make good with Enon, and they had asked you to perform just a teensy weensy favor for them. Does anyone remember what that was?
Yeah, we got a little box of delicious evil that we have to deliver to the Church of Moloch.
Quietly.
Always quiet.
I'm super quiet.
Got my moments.
So, is there anything you want to do before you cross into the slightly foggy street, cross only street, in order to go over to Moloch's mechanical heart, a place of worship for the mighty master of hell?
What time is it?
Well, why do you ask?
Well, is it like dark? Is it daytime? I'm just kind of curious and like,
Well, that's a
how
good
much
question.
cover I have.
It's Sigil, so
It's true.
there isn't really day and night because it's a city that's 360 degrees of it inside of a donut. So it's really always kind of dusky and foggy, and there's a lot of industry. There is usually a constant haze in the air.
Very like A Christmas Carol all the time.
Yes, very much so.
Am I missing? I'm not missing bedtime at least, right?
No, remember, this is all happening after dinner.
Okay.
Like I'm
I didn't know if we jumped into it right away and we were like, hey, we're here, and hey, we're not going to do this thing.
If you'll remember, Anon, they were taking you back to your dormitory. They volunteered to do so, and then took you outside. And then
I didn't realize that, like, hey, you have to do this favor right now.
Or bed, just a little bit of light vandalism.
Listen, it's fine. YOLO, let's go.
So is there anything you want to do before you four decide to trudge off into the dark?
No, Akko is going to put the box of tiny rust monsters into his side pouch, so he's not just carrying it. You know.
You sure you don't want me to carry it? I can carry it. I have a lot of pockets.
I don't think that's a good idea. It's fine. You keep it. Not that I don't trust you, because I totally trust you. I mean, I really shouldn't trust you because I've only known you for like 2 hours. Wow, has it been like 2 hours already? I still smell really nice from that bath. Does anybody else still smell really nice from that bath?
I guess so.
Yeah.
So Walney Street it's got a very narrow street and a very narrow sidewalk. And actually, all the buildings are extremely up and down, all very narrow. All very individualized, though. So you are pretty easily able to point out what is Moloch's mechanical heart, because it is a very, very distinct false front of a steeple that looks like it's been crudely attached to the front of the building, and does have a large iron sculpted heart over the top of it, as well as a emblazoned, ever-burning pyre behind it with Moloch's visage on it. So it's pushed out to where there's this burning flame behind it, and it burns right through his visage. So it looks like there's fire coming out of his mouth and eyes.
Where specifically were we supposed to drop those rust monsters?
Just inside.
Okay.
You just asked that it be somewhere
So
inside.
is the layout of Lonely Street, or I guess this building in particular, such that it's like, are there alleys between buildings? Are they pressed up against each other like in Amsterdam? Is it?
They're very up and down, very tightly pressed. Most of them are literally touching one another.
Okay.
And it is, Lonely Street's a little over 2 blocks.
Okay. And if on the way, is there a cross street between where we were and, okay.
This is like a cul-de-sac.
Hmm.
And then the end of the cul-de-sac is actually where Uncle Tommy lives. He literally has the first couple buildings on each side and then one huge building at the end of the cul-de-sac.
His favorite kind of sack.
So how far
Look
away
at
are we from?
courtyard.
How far away are we from the building then? Like our
You're
building,
about you're about a block.
a block. Okay. So if we need to, we can beat feet.
And you said at the end of Lonely Street, the opposite end from where we are is the
There's a
I forget their name, the police station.
on one
Right.
side of the street there's a harmonium precinct.
Oh, yeah.
And at the end of Lonely Street, rather than being open and going right out into the hive, there's a gate. Well, there's an archway that looks like a gate goes in front of it. Currently, what you're seeing, though, is rather than a gate of iron or wood, it's a gate of razor vine. And razor vine is an invasive plant that grows heavily all over Sigil. And this appears to be the gate itself is razor vine. And there's some razor vine within the 2 blocks that's kind of grown over in certain areas.
Hmm.
It's very distinct looking.
It's a frontal assault then.
Yeah, there isn't a back door
Okay.
that you're aware of.
Right. Akko will go up to the door and open it.
Do you want to do any, like, as you're walking down the street, any investigation or any just kind of learning landmarks or anything as you go, or you're just going to go right up to the door?
Charity's definitely going to take a look at like whatever we're passing.
I feel like Akko's pretty goal oriented, but if everyone stops and mills around, he'll do it too.
So on the right side of the street, leading up to Moloch's, you don't see a whole lot of signs, but you do see 2 that stand out because they both are lit. One is a very, very small, very, very up and down building. It's almost like a square tower. And there's a wooden sign hanging out in front of it. It says the Curious Cube of Knickknacks and Tchotchkes. And what you realize is this building looks like a cube.
I want to go to there.
Also a closed sign on it. But it looks to be 3 stories tall.
We are coming back because that looks amazing.
So on the front, there isn't a door. There is the sign and then a set of scaffolding stairwells that go up to the 3rd floor where there's another sign. 2 spots down from that is a carved into wood, a very, very nicely drawn or carved picture of an unmade bed. And you see somewhere called the Dirty Blanket Inn.
Gross.
Also very small. Like most of you are used to like dwellings that have some space. This is not that. This is very, very small. Again,
Hmm.
Is the inn open?
it looks to be there is a set of jars hanging below the sign, and they are tiny jars. They're just about maybe 2 inches, and they are in the shape of the word no vacancy and vacancy. Inside the no vacancy is lit up. When you look closer at it, what's actually lighting these up are a tiny swarm of bugs.
Hmm.
And does it look like it's mostly, well, there's like windows at street level? Yes,
That's
no?
a good question. Usually there's very few windows on the first floor.
Okay. Is there any
It seems to be by design. Make me a what was your special skill, Akko?
possibility?
Not this time.
It's probably not the right one for this.
Yeah, probably not. Make me an, you know what? Make me an insight check. I think this would be a good place for that.
Pretty good roll. 16.
As you four kind of skirt along the sidewalk, you notice that most of the buildings you're walking by look like at one time they did have first floor windows and that now they're bricked up.
Hmm.
But there's a door.
There is a door.
Does
There is a large steel door.
it sound like there's noise coming out of it? Like there's also a tavern or something inside, or
Now
seems quiet?
you look further down the street and you do see what looks to be a tavern, one on the left side of the street and one on the right side of the street. So
And that's past. Is that past the?
yes, further down on the next block.
Okay. Do either of them have signs that we can see from here? Read from here?
Yeah. One
Okay.
has got a metal sign that looks like it's been carved, so you can actually see from the light behind it, showing you what the image is. It's carved into it, and it is a square with an eye in the middle with arms and legs that looks like it's like tipping over, and it says it's called the Stumbling Modron. On the other side of the street, there is light pouring out of an open door, and you can hear the noise from inside of it. And you can see a sign above it illuminated by the light. It's a simpler sign of a wooden sign of a big mug, and on it is written Jolly Jog's Spilt Cup. And just for point of reference, you are on the right side of the street, which is the same side as the precinct, because you can see two armored individuals standing at the precinct door.
And that's about a block away now.
That is at the end of, that is where Lonely Street leads into the cross street. It is literally on the corner.
Okay.
Right on the inside of the gate.
Mm-hmm. What does the door to the Moloch's Mechanical Heart look like?
It looks like a large kind of peaked door, double door.
Okay.
And on both sides, again, in metal is carved a large coin with Moloch's face in the middle of it.
The face that's on the coin look like the coin that Annan gave Echo the 2 coins.
Very, 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 very similar.
Okay.
Probably different artist interpretation.
Okay. Yeah, so Echo will stand in front and he'll open the door. Is it like saloon doors?
No, they're a little bit more like large cathedral doors.
Okay.
So you like have to push them in.
Okay. Pushes them in easily.
Should we go in the
He's
front
really
door?
strong.
Should we go in the front door?
What? Oh, only door.
Okay.
So you come in.
Where else?
And
Go.
there are a series of braziers in a large open room. And if any of you attended a religious ceremony before, like in a proper church back on your home world?
Nope.
Mm-mm.
So it's you don't really have a point of
what?
You don't really have anywhere to draw like a conclusion from. But this is a series of desks, wooden desks, very, very finely done. And there are a myriad of individuals sitting behind their desks and people standing in a line where there's a velvet rope going up and talking to someone at each of these desks.
Is there a sign on the desk like saying what like they are or what they're for?
Says their names.
But not like, receiving or billing or
They all say recruiting. So for player perspective, think of a mortgage department in a bank.
Like bullpen of low desks.
So these are real nice.
Yeah.
And you kind of notice in the front of each of them in the wood, Moloch's face has been carved in there. In fact, the more you look around, this guy's face is everywhere. This very frightening visage is everywhere looking down. Even on the floor, it's looking up at you. And there is probably about 10 people in front of you in the queue, and most of them look pretty shabbily dressed. A few of them are itching and moving around, and you can actually see lice coming off of them, or something like lice. And at the end of this large open space, you can see a skinny tabaxi sitting behind the largest desk you've ever seen. In fact, it looks like he has to take a little bit of steps to get up into his chair. And he has a large book propped up on what looks to be like the top part of a lectern. And he's reading furiously, turning pages. And he appears to be in conference with a few individuals. One looks to be an older woman of dusky skin and bright burgundy hair, carrying a bag, and the bag looks to occasionally move in different directions as if there might be something or some things inside of it. You see roll me a nature check for the next one, please.
Everybody here.
Everybody.
Okay.
Go on there. Didn't you all go in or just Echo?
Yeah.
No, we went in.
16.
I'm standing behind Echo, but I went in.
Maybe a
How do you
19.
can see anything because you're standing behind him? Taller than all of you.
So Echo, you got a what?
16.
16. Charity.
19.
19. Amulet.
8.
Twig. 7. Right.
7. Yeah.
Okay. So Twig and Amulet, you're kind of like just too busy looking around.
I'm looking at all the things on the desks.
Yeah, there's a lot of little knick-knacky things, although most of them look kind of gross. Echo, you and Charity both see this large red individual holding what looks to be some type of pike. And at first you're like, oh, is that a dragonborn? But the more you look at him, you realize that is not a dragonborn. That's something else. That's definitely dragon-esque, but not a dragonborn. Last but not least, you see a gentleman in almost like what we would call Puritan garb, the tall hat, brimmed hat, a large trench coat, long coat, and he's stroking a jet black cat. And looks
Kitty's here. My God.
and looks to be quite annoyed, just kind of put off by the entire thing. Make me another perception check, you four.
There it is. 9.
16.
Oh, you guys reversed rolls.
30-20.
30-20.
Nice.
6.
Keeping it consistent.
So distracted.
So, Twig, you watch as a tiny bug moves through the room and heads towards the large desk. And then the bug disappears. You're not sure what happened to it. It's kind of like you're looking, but you're not quite sure what's going on. Charity, what you saw was that bug hit what looks to be some type of clear field. And like a large bug zapper, it just enveloped it and there was a tiny spark.
Oh.
There any? Is it just the one room? Are there doors?
It's a huge room. There is one door in the back. Kind of like when you're in a huge church, there's usually that one door that goes into the back area.
Okay. Is the big desk in front of the door?
Yeah, it's like up, like, so it's like all raised on a dais.
So there's not like a large statue of Moloch anywhere?
No,
Metal statue of
instead Moloch's face is like along the top where there would normally be a church, like stained glass windows. It's just metal sculptures of Moloch looking down on you in different faces of disdain.
How high up are those?
Disappointment, anger, frustration. None of the faces look happy, but they're all the same face. So the church is narrow, but it's tall. So they're probably a good 30 feet up.
Just out of reach.
And there's
Is there?
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, is there a public bathroom at all?
Do you think Moloch would give you access to his bathroom?
Listen, I'm not from here. I'm just asking.
The answer is no.
Damn
I
it.
feel like if you put your name in his book, and he might let you go.
Maybe there's an employee bathroom.
Part of your hell is not being able to use the
That sounds terrible.
Just pee forever.
Or
Never
it
stops.
could be that there's a bathroom and it's real gross. It's never clean.
There's just one nasty, nasty bathroom.
It's the worst damn spot curse of all time.
Ugh.
So there's literally a row of desks on each side, and they're very tight together. So you can see when people go and sit in these chairs and talk to these people, there's no privacy. Not to mention if they try to scoot their seat back, they're bumping into the person. So they're forced to like lean up on the desk like this to talk. And it's very awkward. Whereas the people behind the desk actually have a little bit of space. This whole room just feels uncomfortable.
Can we hear any of the I'm sorry. Can we hear any of the conversations going on?
Would you like to try?
I would very much like to.
Make me that perception check.
15.
You can catch the kind of hushed talks of the two very rough characters in front of you. And they're whispering in low voices about how, this is the way out. No more living in the cage. I'm gonna give them the slip. Then we'll have enough jink to go do whatever we want. Sure, we'll have to head to Avernus eventually, but it's worth it. Better than living here in the hive. I mean, one thing about Joke is at least he's forced to be honest. These folks look real bad. Like their clothes are tatters. They're covered in weeks worth of filth. Their bodies are pretty emaciated. Like they've been living maybe off the stuff that's living on them. And this is sort of all four of your first look at maybe what poverty looks like here. Because we're in the open house, it's real nice. One thing you notice too is there is all the wood is extremely well carved, like it's beautiful artisan work. But within the wood, the harder you look, the more you just see the faces of different beings of different races, all in agony. You have to look really hard. It's almost like it's in the grain of the wood. And then everything else is covered in bronze. It's this melted and sculpted bronze covering on a lot of the different wood. And it all has very harsh angles to it. There's a smell of that irony smell of blood in the air. And one thing you notice is every time someone leaves one of those desks, when they sign, they are pricking their fingers with a pen and then using their fingers to sign whatever it is they're signing in blood, in their blood. So it has that smell, but behind that smell, there's this very rich smell of incense. It's almost like it's trying to mask that smell of blood, and it's doing a real poor job of it, possibly purposefully.
Mm.
So as you're, oh, go ahead.
No, go for it.
So as you're standing there, and kind of moving through the line, just taking everything in, unsure kind of what you want to do. Do you feel who's in the very back? Don't everyone reply at once.
Maybe.
Probably,
Yeah.
the girls.
Yeah.
You feel a hand on your shoulders.
Spin around.
Right round, baby, right round.
Yeah.
Yes.
Always to the right.
Behind you is what looks to be a woman, or someone with extremely feminine features. A light purple skin with hard purple lines above the eyes, on the chin. They're wearing like what looks to be some type of harness on their large billowing garb that has metal wings on the back of it, very short, almost ornamental wings. And her hair pulled back into a tight, like bun on top. And she looks down and she just looks at you both and says, "Little ones, what are you doing here? This is not for you. You should leave now."
You're kind of pretty. I've never seen somebody with a skin color like yours. I mean, I kind of have, but I kind of haven't. But it's been a really, really, really long time, and I don't really remember what she was. I think she was some kind of bard or something. All I remember is she sang a lot of songs. Do you sing songs? I really like music. Can you sing me some songs?
He kind of looks at you and she goes down to one knee and she goes, "Singing is unfortunately not my specialty. Otherwise, I most likely would not be here."
Well, then what are you here for?
Safety.
safety.
But you shouldn't be here, any of you. You're children.
Yeah. Weird, right?
This is not a place for children.
I mean, that guy looks kind of little over there at the desk. I mean, he looks kind of short. Maybe he's just short. Ooh, is that insensitive of me? I should probably be more mindful.
She kind of pulls you a little closer as she's in it. She's, do not, under any circumstances, insult the reader of the book. That would be very, very poor decision making on your part.
Don't insult him. Got it. I'll point with 2 fingers. I heard that's a lot more polite.
How about don't point and let's get you out of here. This is not a place for children. No matter how bad things are for you, this is not a place you should find yourself.
Well, things aren't that bad. We're cool, right, Amulet? We're good. Everything's great.
We're fine.
Then why are you here to sign your name to the book? That makes no sense.
I'm not here to sign the book. I don't want to sign.
No.
Did you want to sign the book?
We're not signing the book.
I don't want to sign the book. Are you going to sign the book?
No.
You're not. Yeah, you're not. She's not going to sign the book. I'm not going to sign the book.
No.
No.
What? She looks extremely confused. And you guys are being completely honest, correct?
Not
Yeah.
signing the book.
So she looks completely befuddled. The line continues to move as 2 more people walk through. There's only about 6 people in front of you at this point. And she's looking behind, and a couple other folks come in. An ogre and a goblin. The ogre is taking up a lot of space. It's, you realize at this point, going out the door is going to be a lot of excuse me's, pardon me's. And she's kind of starting to look a little frantic. Children, you should leave now. If you're not here to put your name in Moloch's book, then you have absolutely no place here.
Sure. Cool. Hold that thought. She's gonna kind of like skirt her way up to the boys a little bit. And just like
Down his shoulder, on the elbow.
yeah, like
On his furry elbow.
Yeah.
Since they both have furry elbows.
she tries in the most charity way possible to be very like quiet about it, but like it's not her forte. So she's just kind of like, they're gonna try and make us sign the book. I don't think you want to sign the book. Maybe like ixnay on the ukbe.
Okay. Nope. No sign.
Okay, maybe we could leave.
But when you turn around and start talking to Charity, you notice that talking to Amulet on one knee is a female of very light purplish skin color with the dark purple lines. One thing I didn't mention before, her eyes have no iris. They're just white.
Dope.
Is she as dirty as everyone else?
Actually, the thing you notice is the only thing dirty on her is where her knees would be on her gown. And you also notice, make me a perception check, Amulet.
Hopefully my rules will turn around. Oh, that's better. 17.
You do notice as well is, so her sleeves are like 3/4 sleeves, and you look like when she leans down, you can check up her arm, and she's obviously has a recently poorly stitched wound.
She
like
like
a gash.
not bleeding out through her clothing though, is she?
Mm-hmm. This wound looks to be like maybe like a day or 2 old.
Charity's gonna kind of like,
Guys, so stupid of me. This isn't the ice cream parlor. We should go.
The ogre looks down at the goblin and says, I want ice cream.
See?
Picks the goblin up and looks at him and goes, you promise ice cream. The goblin goes, hey man, this is what we agreed to do, right? We're doing this, right? We're we're gonna sign up. We're and no more hard work for all the ice cream we want. That's why we can just negotiate in there. And he just sticks the goblin in his mouth and just bites him in half.
Gross. Yeah.
Ew.
Blood just kind of slowly oozing down his mouth. He goes, tastes like ripple fudge. Until like one leg is hanging out of his mouth and he's just slowly chewing. And you can see a couple of the people that are in front of you are looking back and now scooting forward until they're all just like in one mass at the line. And he just continues, just like a cow chewing cud, just grinding this goblin up in his mouth. He looks down. He looks down at you, Amulet, and he says, do you taste like ice cream?
I don't think so. I imagine I don't taste good at all.
No, she probably tastes like poop.
The woman
Could.
who's kneeling with you stands up. She walks up to the ogre. He leans down and she puts her hand on his massive chest and she appears to whisper something, and then he just stands with like a dumb grin on his face. Goblin shoe falling down out of his mouth onto the floor with about ankle to shin high foot also out of there. And then she leans back down and she says, you should leave.
How did you do that?
That was so cool, right?
It was really cool.
You should leave.
Get it.
Oh no, the harmonium's here. She looks at you and she said, this is not a place for you. This is a terrible place.
Yeah.
This is the last stop for desperate people.
Got it. We're gonna go. She kind of like walks up to her and just puts one hand on her arm, and she's gonna cast Cure Wounds to try and fix her boo-boo.
Aw.
And she'll just kind of smile up at her after she does so. And she just starts like walking towards the door. She's not gonna look at like the ick happening either.
Make me a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, shnikes. Oh, that's gonna be bad.
No.
That is a 10. It's not terrible, but it ain't good.
You are overwhelmed with images that your tiny brain cannot comprehend.
Oh, great.
These are things that you at your age don't quite understand, but none of them look good. And
Calculus.
they happen very fast. Like it's like you're getting inundated with like a slideshow moving so fast you can't register the images. All you can register is like the emotion behind them, and you take 3 radiant damage.
Oof.
Man, it's like half your hit points.
And she like grabs her arm and she says, she just kind of shakes her head like very in a very soft pleading body language, is like, don't do that. But you do notice that the wound looks better.
She's kind of like stunned into silence for the first time in a very long time. And
whoa, how'd you do that too?
The next 2 people in line go to their desks. There's only 2 people in front of you now.
yeah, she's headed for the door then. She outie. Gotta go.
Come back.
No, guys, gotta go.
Echo, the lady said we have to go.
The lady said we gotta go, so we gotta go.
Lady. Who you?
Make us sign the book.
Who say book?
You're not gonna have a choice. We gotta go.
So she will stand up to Echo. She looks back at you 2 and say, "Is this your friend?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We stay together.
I would like. She steps to Echo, and I would like you to there no? Huh, okay. Make me a charisma. No, you know what? I take that back. You don't need to make me any save. She gently touches your arm, and you can feel like all the fur on your back of your neck, on your arms, everything stands up. And she looks at you and she says, "You should leave."
Did she step in? She stepped in front of me now, right?
Yeah. She's
Okay.
to the side of Akko.
While she's talking to him, can I slink backwards? And I want to go behind the ogre. And I want to look up at the ogre and cast vicious mockery.
Oh,
And I want to say, hey, that guy like 2 behind you said you're ugly.
Okay, yeah, you know what? You can do that. He looks real mellow right now. So he didn't look mellow when he ate his buddy. He looks real mellow right now, but if that's what you want to do.
Well, I'm trying to make him mad. I'm trying to use him to get angry as a distraction, is what I'm trying to do, if that helps.
Like he just ate his friend. He's probably stable.
Who knows?
Good.
but he's adventurous. Like, what if he wants to find out about the other freaking, 30 flavors standing in
Been
this time?
insulted. He's been insulted. So he makes a wisdom saving throw.
Oh,
Oh no, that ain't gonna go good.
you can tell by my expression.
That's a face.
I mean, I don't have a great high spell DC though, so
Got to be better than a 9.
it is better than a 9.
Yay.
So he takes 1d4 psychic damage. So he takes 3.
I would like you to make a deception check, though.
Yeah.
Okay. Fingers crossed. I rolled a 17 and I have a 2, so 19.
He looks behind him, and there's no one there.
Oh, I thought you said there were several people in line.
Yeah, in front of you.
I thought you said behind us too.
And he assumes the person ran out the door.
Oh, good.
And he comes barreling out of the door, almost breaking the doors off the hinges, screaming into the street.
I want to go up to the door and be like, "Oh my God, guys, fight!"
Everyone
Fight!
stops and looks.
I'm trying to do a bar clear. Fight!
A lot of the people behind desks who are writing, like, look at you, like, what?
Oh, look at the fight! It's a big ogre and it's a little guy. It's super fun.
Make me another deception check.
Can I help? Can I assist?
You can assist. If
Awesome.
you're trained, you can assist.
Well, I rolled a 14 on the first one, and I rolled 13 on the second one. So I got a 16 still.
Most of the rank and file folks who are signing, they're just eager to sign and get whatever it is they came for. Most of the people that are there to take their signatures, they seem to be like, okay, we see this all the time. However,
Damn it.
definitely the people behind the field and a few in front of the field, like the closest to the field, all kind of look. You can see them kind of look at you odd. And a few of them start to get up, say, "Oh, excuse me momentarily. Take this time to read this pamphlet about all the works of Moloch." And
So you've decided to go to hell.
And it's not a pamphlet. You look at it and it's like a book that's chained to each table, and they push it across with audible sighs because it's very, very large, and looks like it's got metal covers on it. And they're very, very similar garbs also reach to their desks, and they pull out what look to be maces, and they start heading towards the door.
So not towards me, though. Towards the door.
No, towards where you are.
Like, are they coming to me, or do they look like they have intent to go at the door?
Because they look intent on keeping ruckuses out. At that point, the woman kind of herds you all together and starts to usher you out. She looks at you, Akko, and she says, wouldn't it be a much better idea to be outside? To be away from here?
Is it like a magic thing?
Yeah.
Okay, then he will do it.
It's not like it's forceful, it's just kind of a
Like a suggestion.
Possibly, yeah. So she ushers you out and down the steps. And they're like, as you see going up to a big church, except for these are like super narrow because this church is only about 30 feet wide. And she ushers you around the corner into the shadow where the steps end. And you see as 5 individuals walk out carrying maces, and there's an ogre in the street yelling and screaming about, who said Rog's stupid? Rog's smartest and hungriest there is. Bring Rog the ice cream. And you can see people who are leaning out from the pub down the street. All of a sudden I need to look it up again. Still have not memorized everything. From the Jolly Jog spilt cup, they're leaning out, looking down as he's stomping and yelling in the street, and where the door was open and there was light shining out, and you can audibly hear like bars being put in front of the door.
Are the
Rug wants ice cream and death to enemy.
Are the harmonium moving at all?
They're make me an insight check. Actually, first.
14.
They've gone from passively standing in front of the door to passively standing where they're on the end of the street facing this situation. You're getting the impression that they're going to wait and see what happens before they move in to start their procedures.
You go back inside. You
No, that is a terrible idea.
have to.
You should not have been there anyway. That's not safe. She has to look up when she talks to you.
Donate. Give. To church. We have to.
She looks at you. Are you holding like the box out?
No. Still in his pocket.
If you need to give something, give it to one of the acolytes. That is not a place for you to be. She kind of looks and she almost like she's having an epiphany at the same time. And she says that maybe that's not a place for any of us.
Yeah, I mean, if you say that book is really crappy, you probably don't want to go in there either.
Maybe. There's other ways to tithe. She looks confused on why you would want to give to Moloch.
Surprise from friend.
She looks at you again. She's like, friend of Moloch?
Friend.
I mean, friend's kind of a strong word. Acquaintance, maybe? Kind of? Sort of? I think.
She kind of looks around. And she says, just come with me. She walks you across the street. You see that the we're not going to call them acolytes. We're going to call them interns. You see the interns head out into the street, and Rog no care about stupid book. Rog care about ice cream and find person who called Rog stupid. And they're just like Mr. Rog, if you'd like to come back inside now, I'm sure we can facilitate you getting some ice cream, as well as finding the one who has wronged you. That is part of it. He just slaps one of them all the way across the street, and they like tumble in the broken physics style and crash into a wall. And you can see them all back away, take two-handed stances with their mace. Now you can watch the two harmonium officers slowly meander down the street. And she says, "Hold my hand in a line." And she moves you across the street and moves you a little further down the street and takes you into the stumbling Modron.
I mean, we don't know you. We don't know you.
She looks back and she says, "I don't know you either, but you're children and you have..."
Ah, we're tough. We're okay.
Talk like that never ends well. At least let me give you something to eat or drink before you go back to wherever you came from, but away from there.
Dinner.
Oh, we had some food.
Yeah, I'm still pretty full from dinner.
Mm-hmm.
She looks at you for like, "Oh my God." Then she turns and she goes, "What are you doing here? The street's closed off. It's after bells. You're on Lonely Street and you're heading into a recruitment office for the Blood War."
The what?
She slowly puts her hand to her head for a second. She's like, this is not my problem. I do not know why I'm doing this." And then she takes a couple of steps away from you with her back turned, and then she takes a large sigh and she turns around. She says, "Where do you live?"
Ooh. Don't tell. Stranger.
I mean, we're kind of from all over the place.
"Where do you stay now?"
Down the road.
And then she looks at Akko as well and she says, "My name is Bliss. Now we're not strangers."
I think it was the open house.
Her eyes get kind of large for a second. She kind of looks around and she's, "Oh. Why were you down then at Moloch's chapel?"
Already tell. Give. Gift. Surprise. Like birthday.
She looks at Akko again and she says, "Who asked you to give a gift to Moloch?"
Friend.
So this is not your gift to Moloch. This is someone else asking you to do this.
Echo nods. He looks a little exasperated, like, how is she not getting this?
She looks at the four of you and she sits down, has you pat the curbing as if asking you to sit down. She makes sure you move off a little further away from the brouhaha that's taking place as the two harmonium officers are now moving down the street to help subdue a very angry and ice cream rage-driven ogre.
I mean, same.
Frog wants chocolate chip with ears.
Life, man. Sometimes it's a rocky road.
I'll sit next to her, but as soon as I sit down, I'm gonna stick my hand in one of her pockets.
You stick your hand where you think there's a pocket.
Uh-oh.
There are pockets.
What'd you say?
There are no pockets.
Oh.
That dress has no pockets.
She looks down at you and she says, "I don't have anything worth stealing."
I don't steal anything.
"Then you're a little young for that." She takes her hand.
I'm just confused. I'm
She
like, I
just-
don't even know what she's talking about.
She pats the top of it and she says,
I
"How
just
about
like
we
the
just-
touch of your fabric.
How about we just keep our hands to ourselves for now? What is your name?"
I don't know you. My parents said,
I introduced myself, so you know me. I just don't know you.
I mean, I know your name, but that's not me knowing you.
She looks kind of befuddled by all of your hardcore stranger danger, especially where she found you.
Maybe let's been around the block a few times.
Hey, I was on a job. There's no stranger danger when you're on the job.
Nah, it's totally cool. I'm Charity.
Hello, Charity. My name is Bliss.
Hi.
Echo. He
Hello, Echo.
seems to kind of notice her eyes for the first time. That's scissor blank too.
As this getting to know you, meet cute is happening, you're seeing bodies in the background thrown all over the place, screaming.
I'm glad I could start a
I
war.
love the visual.
Rog being stabbed repetitively as he screams about ice cream and bites an arm off someone. And then you hear the words, "Stop in the name of the law," and everyone freezes. And she leans down to you and she says, "Do not move. Stay right here. Make sure that you don't do anything." You watch as the ogre and the 3 remaining interns are all frozen. Not frozen by ice, but their bodies are completely rigid. And these 2 officers use very interesting sets of manacles. I forcibly put these individuals' legs and arms in positions to manacle them. And then you hear a word in a language you do not speak spoken, and they all just kind of come to and are escorted down towards the building at the end of the street by the gate. She looks at you and says, "Those are the harmonium. You do not want to cross them."
Good to know.
They do not care about your age, where you're from, or even what you've done. Especially here in the hive, they're just waiting for you to break the law so they can take you.
Who put sand in their buttholes?
Unfortunately, all of them have sand in their buttholes.
They need to wash better.
Like, really?
She
Like,
smiles.
there's spells that can help with that. That's like super unsanitary. Ugh.
They are not good people. So, you were bringing a gift. Do you know why you were bringing this gift?
Church. Bad.
She kind of looks down for a moment. She says, "Yes, it's a bad place."
Nice present.
It's a nice present.
Not nice present.
Her eyes kind of go wide for a moment, and they're actually, when they go wide like that, you can see like almost a sheen of radiance behind them. And she says, oh, children, no, that is a even worse idea. If those people knew you did something to their church, to their recruitment office, they would come for you. And they're worse than the harmonium.
So how do we do it in a way that they can't know?
She kind of smiles like this exasperated smile. And she says, how about you don't do it?
Okay, but how about we do, though?
She just kind of looks exasperated for a second. And then she goes rigid and she falls forward on top of you. Make me a perception check.
That's going to be a 15.
All of you can make me a perception check, actually.
10.
21.
13.
She goes down and you see in the back of her dress what looks to be 2 little wounds. And you look up, and flying in the air are 2 winged little humanoids with long barbed tails that are laughing.
Are they
Do any of you
holding
speak
weapons?
No, they're not. Do any of you speak Infernal?
Speak Abyssal.
So they appear to be giggling and laughing and speaking something you do not speak. And you are now in initiative.
Wow.
Hail to the gnaw.
With the little flying things?
No, with the lady who got knocked out, her initiative is 0. It's going to be really easy.
Love easy.
That's an 18 for Echo.
Who's going to track initiative?
I'll do it.
Okay. They're going in 21.
I'm also going in 21.
You would go first.
Be at 13.
All 4 of you can make me
Gonna be an 11.
perception checks really quickly.
16.
15.
16.
Get that sad trombone ready.
Ba-dum.
Natural 1.
So everyone but Akko sees that these 2 little tiny individuals are wearing very similar but obviously modified versions of what the interns were wearing. And on their belts, their little belt buckles are little Moloch faces.
Shiny.
Is she still on me? Like, did she fall like on me?
Yeah.
You're
Am I
like
pinned?
grappled.
I'm gonna,
You're not
help her
pinned.
get out.
You're not pinned, but you're like, you will not get your full, you'll get half movement.
Okay. When she falls and it hits me, like, she'll kind of throw her arms, but she's like, okay, 1, y'all gotta know that wasn't me. Number 2, you little douche canoes are going down.
They're like, have this barking laughter that, Akko, it reminds you a little bit of relatives you have,
It's fair.
but it's far sharper and uglier with ill intent. So Twig, you're up first.
All right. So you said they're flying. How high are they off the ground?
They're only about 5 feet off the ground because I had to flow low enough to sting. So
Okay, good. That means I can step. All right. So I will move as close as I need to stab one with the rapier that's as big as I am.
as big as a house, and it's about to set sail.
Yeah, but I'm only 3 feet tall, so you know. That's a 17 to hit.
That hits.
And then that is a 10.
What weapon is it?
It's a rapier.
Just a regular rapier.
Yeah.
Okay. For 10?
Yep.
Okay. Still there. It strikes, but you notice like you felt really good about that strike. and yet it did not seem to injure them as much as you would have assumed.
I don't like that.
So it's now their turn. And one will fly down at Twig. The other one is going to harass Charity's 1-2, Akko's 3-4, and Amulet's 5-6. Going to harass Akko. So
Mean.
Rude.
19 on Twig.
Yep.
Make a con saving throw.
Oh, jeez.
Uh-oh.
10.
Take 6 piercing.
No.
Oh, all right.
Oh, that's
Jesus.
not good.
Don't
Oh,
say
hell no.
and.
You got real lucky. 3 poison.
Okay, I'm just gonna fall over.
I rolled absolutely minimum damage on the poison.
That's all you needed.
Yeah, I don't think that's real lucky when we're first level, Ben.
Yeah.
On Akko, does a 14 hit?
No.
Okay.
Eat
So-
shit.
It flies down and it swings itself, and its little barbed tail comes swinging out, and you pull back, and it goes right through your hair, and you can see a glistening of almost translucent green liquid
Gross.
in your hair, and that you know that if that would have pierced you, you would have been in bad shape.
Just shampooed. Akko, so the one that Twig hurt is the one that attacked him.
Mhm.
Okay. Akko is going to wait, is it on me now?
Yeah, it's like harrying you from above.
One moment. So wait, we're all right next to each other, right?
Yeah.
So Akko,
The other one is in your threat range, so you could attack either one.
Akko can use his reaction to make an attack on the one that attacked Twig.
Okay, that's fine.
So he's going to do that. He is probably going to miss. But let's see. Oh, it's 14.
That hits. The armor class is pretty low.
Great. He's going to swing with his battle axe, one-handed. He's got a shield. Oh, that is 15 slashing damage.
It's just a regular axe, right?
It's a regular battle axe.
Okay, so this thing is kind of seething as it hovers over Twig's fallen body and starts to eye up Charity and Amulet. It doesn't get a very long look at the axe that cuts it in half. As it turns to look and goes, "Oh crap!" And it says it in common, and it literally just cuts it right in half. And its little body goes in 2 different directions.
Okay. So I have
The
a
other one
question.
goes, "Barry,
Eat
you
shit, Barry.
son of a bitch!" In common.
I didn't do it on my turn. Shoot. Okay. Knowles can go crazy and bite things if they kill something, but he can only do it on his turn. Akko will then kind of twist around and just chop at the other one. That's a 19 to hit. That is, oh man, max damage again. That's 15 slashing damage.
It takes it and it hits it in one of its wings and across his body, and it's kind of struggling to stay afloat, but it's still there.
Akko will back up a little bit to, well, Akko's just going to put himself between Twig and.
You are
Yeah.
already between them as best you could be because this thing is flying, so it could move around. But you're in a position to defend Twig, yes.
So is there? So and they were at a table. Were we at a
No.
table?
We're sitting on the curb.
No, you're on the curb. You never.
Oh, we're on the curb. Oh, we're outside.
Outside.
Okay, sorry, thought we were outside. Okay, never mind. Then I'm good.
Yep. I'm not sure who's next.
Oh, it's Charity.
Charity, you are up after you climb out from underneath Bliss.
Sweet. Yeah, she climbs out. She's kind of like,
Barry was a bitch. She's gonna have,
How dare you? You didn't even know Barry like I knew Barry. Barry was a good imp.
Barry's a
It is
stupid
the
name.
newest place in the hierarchy. You bunch of shitty little kids.
Shitty little kids.
Shitty little kids. We need like t-shirts that just say that.
Yes.
Like shitty little kids. She's gonna, while he's yammering at her and she's ignoring everything he's saying about defending his BFF Barry, she's gonna use acid splash on him.
Okay.
So he needs to he needs to make a dexterity saving throw.
He gets to do that at advantage, and he rolls the exact same number twice. Dexterity,
Yeah.
9. 2 6s. Did you do more than 3?
Let's see. Nope.
Oh, that's a ringer right there.
Jake
Yeah.
is still there.
Did you say Jake?
Jake is still there.
From State Farm.
Yes.
Is he wearing khakis?
No, but he's wearing a sweet intern outfit that's been sized down for an imp.
Well, he sounds hideous.
He's like, his wing that was chopped by Akko is now melting in just an acidic goo and falling off. He's like, "By Molochs, short shorts, why? You children suck." He's having problems staying aloft. And he's just like, his eyes are like now humongous, like this was picking the wrong fight. Amulet, that leaves you at the top
Yeah.
of the top.
I'm gonna step up and try to baseball swing it with my hoopak.
Batter up.
Batter up. Oh, that's amazing. I got a dirty 20. No,
Good.
wait, that's 23 actually. It's 23.
Did you do more than 3 points? Yeah.
I did 6 damage.
So he's like regretting his current life decisions on the prime material or in Sigil, which technically isn't the prime material plane. And he's like, you Barry will be back. Barry, and he sees right at the corner of his eye your hoopak swinging like a baseball bat as you swing for the fences, and he goes, "I'll be back." And you crack him, and his tiny little body goes tumbling through the air, hits the scaffolding area of, let me find that name again, because names are hard. The
Curious
Cube of knickknacks and tchotchkes, where it now hangs dripping from the scaffold stairwell before falling off, hitting the ground, and poofing in a slimy brimstone odor. And you look, and Barry also is now just a gooey pile of stankiness.
You leave my friends alone. Just gonna say it like she did everything.
I was gonna run over to Twig. Well, I guess turn around and kneel down next to Twig since he was right there, and like shake him. Wake up! Now. He looks at Charity because he saw her cast the spell, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You. Oh.
I can only do it once.
I go just kind of like deadpan stares at her.
She's gonna
Really?
start digging around. She's gonna start digging around in the pocket of her little waist apron that she's always wearing.
Oh.
And she starts digging and doesn't find anything. She just keeps digging, and like it goes all the way to her elbow. Like it looks like she's way down there, and she just starts pulling things out, looking for anything that's going to help. There's like gears get flung in one direction, a half-eaten freaking piece of candy, some what look like Orbeez. She's just like leaving shit on the sidewalk, like everywhere, trying to find anything that'll help.
Amulet and Akko, make me perception check. Charity, you can do so at disadvantage.
Oh, that's a good one. 18.
11.
And I rolled the same thing twice.
A lot of that for me tonight too. Charity, you're a little focused on digging to find things. Amulet, you're kind of like, I hit that thing real hard. You're like, whoa. Akko, you don't see it so much as you smell it. And you smell very oiled and finely kept leather and buffed metal. And you can hear now the footsteps from behind you coming from the end of the street by the gate, walking towards you.
Is it the harmonium?
You want to turn around and look?
He'll look over his shoulder.
It looks like it's a harmonium officer.
He's going to frag Twig into the tavern. Come on, now!
You hear a voice. And it says, halt. But this
So not
voice
making
is-
many of his own decisions today.
No, you aren't magically affected at all.
Oh,
And this voice was coming from the opposite direction.
then the harmonium.
And you see another harmonium officer walk out.
No.
And he's very close. And he looks extremely similar to the person coming your way. And he says, I've got this. The other one kind of stops. And he kind of shakes his head. Okay. If you need any assistance, says, of course. And the other officer turns around and walks back. The one that was coming from the area of the open house stares down at you, looks directly at you and winks. And he says, my, oh my, the trouble you children get into. He looks down at the woman on the curb. He says, well,
We didn't do that. We didn't do that.
It's not what we agreed to. But they'll do in a pinch. Pick her up.
Picks her up easily.
I'll pick up Twig.
Akko picks up Twig too. Also
Yeah,
easily.
the officer,
We're still strong.
they bend down and they pick Twig up.
Okay.
And they move you into the shadows back towards the open house. And you see their form slowly change, and it is Anon.
My best friend.
They look at you and say, I can't even ask you to walk across the street without picking up a stray and getting into all sorts of trouble.
I mean, listen, to be fair, like, to be fair, we weren't like clear on the whole scenario thing, and like maybe that's on me. I could have asked more questions. I probably should ask a lot of questions. I was just really interested in you.
Charity.
But like, what?
Charity, my girl. We can talk about this tomorrow. It's late. And if your uncle finds out that I have helped you dig around in the streets, he's going to be very unhappy with you. Not with me, but with you for it.
Okay, but like this wasn't this you? It wasn't like this. Like it wasn't her. It wasn't.
Charity. One thing you're going to learn over time is it's never me. And once you learn that, you're going to learn that it's never you either.
Oh, I got it. Yeah.
She doesn't get it.
She's like,
It's like the image of her like and winking a whole bunch.
Mm-hmm.
He says,
The whole way.
he looks over at the two imp stains and says, I am impressed. Not with how you handled what we agreed to, because you all have the subtlety of a hammer to the face. But at this point, he's opening Twig's mouth and pouring a purplish concoction down, and he holds his mouth and his nose shut as he's continuing to talk. But that is no small. And you, Twig,
Let me at him! Let me at him!
you get 3 hit points back. You don't feel very well, but you get 3 hit points back. And you're like sputtering and coughing. And then he looks at you and he goes, what do we do with this one?
hey, make us stop.
I'm
It's
sorry.
really her
Lady,
fault. It's her
make
fault.
us stop.
Can we leave her?
I mean,
No.
she helped
They'll
us.
find her on the street in the morning. You know, if she's still alive, they can help her. Otherwise, it's just another person in Sigil. No one cares.
No, I mean, she was nice to us. She like made sure that like we didn't get hurt, and she was trying to be really, really cool. And I think she was gonna help us. And then those 2 little a-holes decided to do something to her, and we had nothing to do with that. They were just being jerks. She was trying to be nice, and she was trying to help us, and it wasn't really her fault. So like, we are not leaving her on the street. No.
So that's 1 vote. What do the rest of you say?
Echo's literally holding her and not letting go.
I agree with Charity.
Yep, Chris would help.
Then that's a lesson to be learned. If someone helps you, then it sounds as if you've decided you'll help them. Is that correct?
Yep.
Didn't we say earlier that everything comes with a cost?
Mhm.
He comes over to Echo, or they come over to Echo, where Bliss is hanging, and he seems to be checking to see if they're even still alive. He says, this one's not even alive.
What?
I don't think.
But everything comes with a cost, children. Do you want to pay that cost?
Huh?
What's the cost?
You don't get to know ahead of time, Twig.
Why
You
not?
decide to pay, or you decide it's not worth it. That's the lesson to be learned here. You're not always going to know the lay of the land or the cost of your deeds before you do them. You have to have faith in what you're doing and knowing that it's right, or at least that it's justified. So if you're going to make the decision to help this person, then are you willing to pay that cost?
I think we should.
Just pulls a coin off of his shirt. Pulls it off too.
Is that a D6 Echo?
Mm-hmm.
5.
I'm in.
So
Pull my half-eaten sandwich out of my bag. Will this help?
They look at you and they're waiting for Echo's answer.
so it that leads Echo toward the best path. So
when it's best path.
So he's like he like turns away kind of and like looks like he's looking at something, but nobody else can see it. He's looking to see where his friend goes.
I think it would all depend on you and your friend's morality at this point.
Do the good thing.
Okay. So your friend goes up and puts their hand towards Bliss on your shoulder.
Hey,
Okay. That's what you all have decided. And on, they lead you into the courtyard. And on puts Bliss down on one of the kind of seated, the stoned tables in the courtyard. They take a small bead, they toss it on the ground, and there's a dome that covers the six of you. It's dark, it's purplish, it's hard to see inside of it. Anon pulls out a blade. They look at each of you in turn. You're going to offer some of you to fill her. She is empty, so you're going to give that spark back. I am going to facilitate you doing this. When you do something like this, children, that ties you with that person. It ties you to each other. Are you still okay with this?
yeah, give.
Put your hands out, please.
Puts his hand out.
He runs his blade across each of your hands in kind of a, or they run their blade across each of your hands in kind of a flourish. They toss their knife up, spread their arms, and Anon speaks in a language you don't fully understand. Has you each put your hands together above Bliss's body. I want you each to roll a d6, treat it as a d3, please.
It's like half of what we roll.
So like 1, 2 is 1, 3, 4 is 2, 5, 6 is 3.
3.
3.
You lose those hit points permanently.
All right. Oh, well then
Oh,
I
jeez.
fall over.
You don't, though.
Okay. Just off our max.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't have the money to start with.
Yeah, same.
You should have started at max.
Well, I mean, max at first level is 14, so for me, and that's really good because I'm a barbarian. So
They set up eyes, just pools of radiance, and then they go dimmer. They go from this blinding golden light to a more purplish light. She coughs and sputters, and this vile green liquid comes out of her mouth. She leans over the table, rolls on her side, and actually vomits. And on the blade comes back to his hand. They slide it in their holster, and the dome slowly turns into mist. And Anon looks at the four of you and says, "She's your responsibility now. I can let your uncle know that you've picked up a stray, and I'll make sure that there's not huge backlash. But this is something that we have to learn this lesson. So I think until we have time to discuss it further tomorrow, you can carry this young lady to Nigella's room and she can sleep there. Tomorrow before I leave, I'll make sure that she has a proper room."
Okay. Still need Deliver a present.
Echo, I think you did a wonderful job attempting to deliver my little gift. But unfortunately, I don't think you were quite ready yet. I overestimated how much guile you four had. What I also underestimated, though, was how much raw power you four possess, as well as how much heart. So while I'm disappointed you were unable to do what we agreed upon, I am very, very proud to see you take steps in another direction. Remember, I am not your uncle. He has different interests. But I am more than happy to be your teacher, should you choose that avenue. But I think I've kept all of you up late enough for tonight. They reach into a pouch and they pull out 4 things that look like they're wrapped in paper, and they hand each of you one of them. Eat up. You've more than earned it. Inside are little, very expertly crafted pies, like pasty pies. And on top of them, they have a very odd symbol that's been cut into them before that they were cooked, so it is a lowered area. Eat.
Echo eats his pie.
My sandwich back in my pocket and eat the pie.
You're back to your now new full hit points.
You mean like anyone who was hurt?
Yeah, anyone was hurt.
So just me.
Echo just like tosses the pie up into the air and is like,
One bite. Anon then walks you all back to your room. Leans down above each of you to tell you goodnight. And when they do that, each of you swears that Anon, when they do that, that they look like someone you care about, like their shape changes so they look like a friend or a family member for that brief moment. Then they stand up, they snap their fingers, and the lantern goes out in your room. In the morning, you're awoke by the footsteps of Ms. Broom walking in loudly. She looks at all 4 of you in that very meticulous fashion. Why does it smell like brimstone? You children were very quiet last night.
I don't smell brimstone. What does that smell like?
She walks over to Twig. She sits on the edge of your bed. She says, "Now, Twig, you wouldn't be telling me something that's not true, would you?
No, I don't really know what it smells like.
Can you smell the air now?"
Oh, can I?
Have I lost my sense of smell? Is this one of the things that has happened to me?
Yep.
wasn't that pie, man?
So I rolled a 9.
You 4 smell an awful lot like what? Well, you were out, so yeah, you're like, I don't know what this smell is, but this is a weird smell. You other 3, though, recognize the smells kind of like what those imp stains smelled like after you obliterated them.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Big dinner.
I hate that I'm gonna ask this. Can I make a because this is totally something she would do. Can I try to make a performance check so she can fart on command and like try to convince them that like it's something completely different?
Just don't fail. Because you're betting the farm, you
Oh,
could lose the deed.
this is absolutely the dumbest thing I've ever done in my life. Oh man.
Oh
That's gonna be a 10.
You might have to go to the restroom and do a little bit of cleanup, but you got the results you were looking for.
She's like still like laying in bed, like she hasn't completely gotten up, and she's just like,
That was me. Sorry. Might be what you smell.
Miss Broom looks at you and she goes, maybe the food was a little too rich for you all last night. Well, I hope you're all okay. I'll make something very bland for breakfast. You should most likely go to the bathroom, Charity.
Yep. Yeah.
You do not sound well.
I'm a step ahead of you.
she like rolls out of bed and like tries to like she makes her way to the bathroom in the most awkward way possible.
The duck walk.
Yeah.
So Miss Broom tells you have about 15 minutes and then your food will be prepared. As soon as she leaves, Anon steps around the corner, peeks their head in, and just looks at the three of you who are in the room and just goes,
Why didn't you just say farts?
and then they're not there.
Who knew brimstone smelled like farts?
Charity comes back in and she's just like,
I panicked. I just panicked. I mean, it kind of works.
She didn't know it worked.
Yeah, like it worked. She didn't know.
So
Ryan's getting beat up by his cat.
I know.
you head downstairs, and the only person who's eating with you would be Anon and Bliss. You just see Lady Morma leaving the kitchen area in a huff, and she moves by the four of you and she says, remember, children, tardiness is no excuse. I expect to see you in under an hour for the beginning of your lessons.
Yes,
While she's talking, she like slithers her massive form around you, the four of you. She's big. She's just this massive snake with a woman's head covered in jewelry and very regal. And when she talks to you, she makes sure that she's taller than even Akko. So when she speaks, she's speaking down in a very commanding way.
Like gets up on his tiptoes.
Still not tall enough. Like she makes sure she's bigger than you. She smiles, that toothy, almost sinister smile. It's very disconcerting, especially for Twig and Akko, who are both have more of a anthropomorphized form. This is like a predator looking at you. And Akko, even though you're a predator, you're kind of like, okay, I see how this is going to be. Amulet is immune to fear, so she's just like, you're tall.
Oh, big.
And those are sparkly. Can I hold one for a while? But she looks at you and she says, tick tock, and slithers down the hallway in almost a giant sway.
I mean, are there any clocks around here? How do we know?
That's not her problem.
Can't tell by the sun. Can't.
I believe someone in your group has a time-telling device that doubles as a small mechanical creature.
If only you knew how to tell time.
There's the rub.
Lesson 1. The worst thing is I never learned how to read. Time. So you come in, and as opposed to the extravagant meal you had the night before, these are very plain, well-made wooden bowls, and there is a porridge, and it has an extremely strong smell. And around it, there is some bottles that seem to be filled with different liquids, as well as some tiny jars with different things in them. Miss Broom makes sure you're all sitting down. She comes up to Charity, and she does the hand to the back of her hand to your head, like she's feeling your temperature, which her hand's really cold because it's metal. And you're kind of like, can you even feel that? So she makes sure all of you are seated. She brings you, again, that very sweet juice, as well as making sure your bowls are filled. And then she goes off to possibly deal with something else. You look across, and Bliss looks terrified. Also, make me a perception check, please.
13.
10.
7.
Whew.
So all of you are just kind of like, "What's up?"
So
It's good food, isn't it? Akko, you realize it's very subtle, but her skin hue in all of its places, including her eyes, has darkened a few shades. So that light purple is now a darker purple, and the ones on her chin, the lines going through her eyes, these are almost to the color of black. They're so dark. Her hair color has changed. Everything, that radiance that comes from her eyes is darker. Anon looks at everyone and he says, "So I promised you a conversation before I left today. So I've talked to your uncle. It's one reason he's not here. Let's put it this way, he's miffed. But I have secured a place for your friend to stay here in the open house. And not in Nigella's room, which I'm sure they look over at Bliss. I'm sure was disconcerting to wake up to. Sly smile across their face. But you 5 are now connected. They look over at Bliss. You should be thanking them because they chose to save your life. And she looks at the 5 of you. She looks especially at the 4 of you and says, Thank you.
They make it sound creepy. It wasn't creepy, I promise. It wasn't like a ooh, let's save their life kind of thing. It was like we just kind of felt bad.
I think you have a hard time realizing that you may have saved my life in 2 ways yesterday. And she looks at the coloration on her hands and her arms. Unfortunately, I think that multiple lifetimes of poor decisions has made things difficult. And Anon looks across at her and they say, that's probably a story you should share in time and not proper talk at a dinner table. So, you 4 had some more questions. We have very short time because I have other appointments to go to. Ask them now. As Anon says this, they're eating relatively quickly.
It was like, subtly having an eating contest. Then
Stare down.
he's eating like just slightly faster.
Did we only get what's in the bowls?
No, there's
Okay.
other like little things on the table as well. You notice when you get there that there's different thick, viscous, sweet substances and sour substances you can put on your porridge. There's also like what look to be different fruit preserves in these
So do-
jars.
And
So
he
I
like,
think this fruit juice is Pedialyte.
ew. Any like fruit or pastries or anything I can stuff in my pockets? Need
No.
snacks. Need snacks for the road.
Unfortunately, Miss Broom made it really plain because of Charity's stomach issues.
So she didn't give us any Dr. Berry wine elixirs?
Not today. No.
Smart.
She had with your McElroy IBS, she decided that you should only be getting very plain food.
Don't do that while she's drinking, Ben. I think we got popped through the nose.
Oh God, that makes me Griffin, and that is perfection.
Stop pooping.
My name is Sprite Pepsi.
I'm absent.
It's an instant.
Abstinence for life. Till I die.
All right.
Charity is gonna look at him and be like,
Okay, question. The big scary place that we went yesterday, right?
Yes, Charity.
Cool. Great. You didn't really tell us about like the lion situation and the book situation. And that probably would have been like good information to know before we got there. I'm just saying. So, like, how do you get around that? Like, I was gonna ask if they had a bathroom so that like we could just like go to the bathroom and like take the thing in there, like call it a day. Cause I'm like, bathroom, like poop solves every problem, right? That would have been great. Like,
I'm learning that today.
yeah.
Thank you for teaching me that.
See, like you teach me a lesson, I teach you a lesson. We're simpatico. It's good. So, like, but here's my thing: like, how are we supposed to get around that? Because, like, we kind of stood out like a sore thumb, and I don't think that was kind of the intention. So I'm confused how you thought that was going to work.
I had hoped that you would be more adept in subterfuge. I didn't take into account how young and inexperienced all of you were. And I'm not going to say are, but were, because my hope is you've learned from this. You can't look at every problem like your hammer and it's a nail, because when you do that, all you do is hit the nail. What I'm here to teach you, if you want to learn from me, is how to get around that. My hope would have been that you would have sent the box in with someone else, gone in and left the box at the door, done a numerous amount of things, but I'm not going to second guess you because you're young and you're learning. I didn't expect this. And they point over to Bliss, who's still sitting there kind of like in shock.
I mean, she
However,
does have a name. Probably should use her name and I'll call her this.
Yeah.
It's not very nice.
In this particular case, Amulet, the less she knows of me and the less I know of her, the better it helps both of us. Does that make sense?
Well, if you don't want to know her, why is she here?
Because you chose for her to be here.
She could have just gone home.
They smile, kind of this wry smile, and goes, not anymore. But that's not my story to tell. So one thing to take away from this is I want you to learn something today. It's called plausible deniability. Remember what I said? Remember what I said last night? Is it's not my problem. It's your problem until you learn how to no longer make it your problem. This is part of that lesson. So when you're learning I want you to really keep this in mind. Lady Mormon can teach you all sorts of interesting facts, magic, different ways that not just sigil work, but how the multiverse works. Clax and Vit, well, they're going to beat you pretty severely, and I hope you give it back to them just as hard as they give it to you.
But like finishes his porridge while she's talking and like triumphantly puts the bowl and spoon down.
And looks across and goes, always impressive, Echo. Always impressive. And pushes their bowl over towards you.
I'm close behind finishing, by the way. I've learned to eat fast before someone takes it.
And
Charity's been like spending all this time just like lumping everything sweet that she possibly can on her. It's like this much porridge and now like this much jam.
Anticipated. Anon says they can teach you those lessons and they're fantastic. But what I teach you, what I can teach you, that moves like the wind between them. So what you learned last night, where actions have consequence, everything has a price. And sometimes going through the front door is not the answer.
No other door.
Echo, on your world, do you as a predator attack all prey head on, even prey stronger than you?
No.
Treat everything the same way you would treat it when you hunt. Your real strength doesn't come from your hands or your speed or your weapons or your magic. It comes from right here and how smart you can be in how you act. That would be the lessons, if I don't teach you anything else, that you should learn. There's a large few rooms away. And Anon looks at the four of you and says, well, that would be my cue to leave.
Where was that?
Well, what you did last night did not go unnoticed. And I think that's probably people from Moloch's recruiting office looking to talk to four individuals, then looks at Bliss plus one, who were there during the fracas last night.
Amulet becomes like real slinky and just slides out of her chair and under the table.
So this is a lesson for you to learn. And then we'll talk about it the next time I see you. Anon slips out of their chair, takes a piece of chalk, draws a door on the wall, opens it, says, ta-ta for now, and the door evaporates as they step through.
That was pretty awesome.
Miss Broom walks in with a slinky tabaxi in tow, not Uncle Tawny, wearing very, very, very ornate robes with a big medallion hanging down their neck and a book that looks way too big to be carried strapped around their side. And they come in and say, well, I think you were looking for me last evening. Perhaps we can talk now about your great and amazing savior, Moloch. And that's where we're in for tonight.
I'm legit under the table, by the way. Like if
I know
there's
you are.
table legs, I'm like in that upper crook, like right under the thing. So you can't like, you have to like really get on the floor to see. I'm gone.
You're like
The whole
seeing if
time,
any of
like-
the pieces of gum under the table are worth
Yeah.
stealing.
The only thing I can imagine is you going, "Oh, that's cool," and pulling a screw out of the table.
Probably, yeah.
Table just suddenly collapses.
All right. Well,
You don't need all the screws in the table for it to stay up.
Right?
let's go around the table. Tell people where they can. Tell them who you are. Tell them where they can find you. Tell them about an important part of what you're doing during the times now.
All right. Well, again, I'm Nate, your D&D ringer, playing the wonderful Twig Swift Strike. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Cubicle Zombie. And when I'm not here, I'm also playing D&D. Sorry,
Haven't heard.
on D&DDT podcast. So that's at D&DDT podcast on Twitter.
Anything else you're doing right now, Nate Dogg?
No, it's just D&D.
There.
D&D is the best, so.
It's true.
It's true.
Shannon, lay it on us.
I am Shannon Townsend. I am playing Charity Momart. And you can find me on pretty much all the social media platforms at Smarky Batch with an E, not an I. Find me on Twitter, particularly. And then I do a lot of weird stuff on TikTok. And like I've decided that I love D&D. I know I'm too old for it. Shut up. It's fine.
Never too old.
I've been doing a lot of weird like D&D stuff over there.
That's
So if you
cool.
want to like watch me do really stupid D&D skits with like random
Yeah.
characters in
Yeah, you should-
cosplay, come
You should
watch
have
it.
that, yeah, you should have that weird snake lady follow you. It sounds like she's into TikTok too.
There's my least favorite thing on TikTok right now is there's a vegan lady who's trying to convert everyone to veganism using TikTok as her medium.
Hmm.
The duets happening all involve very large cheeseburgers, and it's very fun.
Okay.
I would just be doing one where I'm cutting a large raw steak and going, "Tell me more." It's like
Yeah.
blood drips off the side of my face.
Tastes like fudge ripple. No.
So that's a thing now. It's canon.
Goblins taste like fudge ripple. It's canon.
Tastes like fudge ripple.
Raw, at least. Cooked, it's probably totally changes. I'm Warrior. I can be found at Warrior MN on Twitter and Instagram. I also play on D&DDT along with the Ringer here. Episodes drop every Tuesday on your favorite podcasting platform, as well as dnddt.com. I also run stats for both of those shows. So typically within a couple days of an episode, there will be a breakdown of fun stuff that happened. What else am I doing? Oh, yeah. The return of Dive Club has also happened. Dive Club was a podcast previously where a few of us hung out with local wrestling fans and personalities at local dive bars here in the Twin Cities area. It has changed to a show where we play Jackbox games. Some of us drink, some of us don't. This week on Dive Club, it's the cast of Down and Outlands. What? That's
Who are those assholes?
what an amazing crossover. Who would have guessed? So we will all be hanging out, playing some Jackbox games. That is at this same channel, twitch.tv/HeelTurnRadio, 7 p.m. Central Time this Friday.
It's a
And every
hoot.
Friday. It's a hoot.
We're the lead-in for Clark Feldman's spooky games.
It's true. That's true. Hang out afterward. You can redirect yourself over to twitch.tv/refclarkfeldman. Also a great follow. Does some cool Fall Guys stuff. Does some fun game stuff. Great guy. Also a host of Dive Club along with me. So check all of that out. And Cassandra, where are you at on social media? Everywhere, right?
I am nowhere.
She's a ghost.
She's like,
I
"Fuck you
mean,
guys."
if someone wants to come up with a real like catchy name, I'll try it. But at this point, nah. I'm here. You can find me here every other Monday. And if you really want to see puns and recipes, you can find me on Facebook.
Check out Cassandra on Twitter at Sticky Fingers with 2 Z's.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
Man,
Clark,
probably taken.
Rev Clark Feldman smells like a third to half as good as Jeff Cobb. That's how good he smells.
Wow.
Wow.
I know. That's
pretty
saying
good.
a lot.
Pretty good.
That's high
I
praise.
mean, it's like a niche rating, but like
Yeah.
for those who get it, it carries a lot of
Because
weight.
Jeff Cobb smells so good.
He does.
Yeah, but Clark doesn't make you squat to be in photos with him, so.
That's true. That's true. I'm your King Ginger. Squatting for photos.
Happened.
Jeff Cobb.
It happened. He was like, "You're too tall. Can you just bring it down a little bit?"
Speaking of squatting, if you ever find yourself in a sticky situation.
It smells like brimstone in here. So I'm your King Ginger. First of all, let me thank everyone in the heel turn conglomerate family, whatever you want to call it, mafia.
Conglomerate.
It's a mafia. Ooh, can we be a mafia?
Sure.
So
You're not going to like the shoes.
everybody we've already mentioned, but also want to mention Nick Karen and Beard as always. And then, of course, the man on the ones and twos, the Doug Lahassee, aka Hot Body Doug Little, aka Casual Doug.
AKA sad trombone guy.
Oh, I miss Doug Lahassee.
I miss Doug Lahassee and all of I miss Doug Lahassee wooing and doing kip ups.
Yes.
We're really happy you could join us for our second episode. Every 2 weeks, we will be putting out Down Outlands. We enjoy playing it. I have amazing players, and I'm pretty sure anyone who sticks around and watches it, you're amazing too. In the meantime, Shannon can attest. We've got some Star Wars stuff we've been putting together. You can tell by that look that how well it went. We'll be wrapping that up, and then I don't know what will be next. In fact, I might ask Beard to put up a poll to figure out what game to run next. I have talked to him though, and I am going to the Monday after Extra Life, since Extra Life is 24 hours and everyone who plays in it will probably feel like dog shit because they'll be tired. That night, we will not have Down in Outlands. Instead, I will take all comers and we're going to play Lasers and Feelings for one night.
Whoa.
Because it's real easy and should be a blast. We also will be, Beard and I are recording another episode of Survival Guide tomorrow. And Friday, Dive Club. It just never stops.
Busy week.
Can't stop one step.
It's just so much going on.
It's becoming
So,
a problem.
I hope you see a doctor if it lasts more than 15 hours. If your enjoyment of Down Outlands is longer than 4 hours, see a doctor. Thank you to everyone we've already talked about. Thank you to everyone watching, and we'll see you in 2 weeks for Cosmic Joke. Bye.
Bye.